Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for clicking on my videos. I really do appreciate your time. I just have one finished project to share with you today and an update on some other things. But as you saw by the thumbnail, the yarn that I used for this project is just yarn from Premier that I got at the Dollar Tree years ago. I wonder how long I've had this. I always look to see if there's a date on here. 2020, so I've had it for a little while. And if any of you have seen the earlier videos of mine where I showed how much of this yarn I've got, both in some darker, warmer colors like this, as well as some pastels that I've done some blankets out of and stuff. So anyway, this one has to do with this one called, this is called denim. And each of these balls are 60 grams. It's a medium worsted weight 4, and they suggest a 5.5 millimeter hook for it. You get 131 yards. I used about 360 grams of yarn for this project, and it's kind of one that didn't start out like it was supposed to be, or I didn't set out to make this specific thing. If any of you have seen earlier videos of mine, I love the Willow stitch, the Willow square stitch. Like I'm having a brain freeze right now. The Willow square stitch, and I've made a few, probably half a dozen blankets with it at least. I've donated some, and the people who got them love them, and I have one on my bed upstairs, and I'd like to do this stitch quite a bit. So anyway, so I had been making some blankets with some different color combinations and trying to use up all of the yarn as I see I have a bunch of yarn. I'm going to make this big project and I'm going to use it all up, but I wasn't. So picking and choosing some colors that I was making. I had a bunch of squares left over that I ended up not putting into the project. So I think when I picked this up right now to finish this project, I had maybe 9 squares. So I made 3 more. And if any of you have seen my recent videos, boy, this is just a flashback on all my previous works, kind of a conglomeration, both the yarn, the project, the pattern, all of it. But I made a cardigan out of it, and I know that it might be a surprise to some of you, but it cracked me up. I absolutely love it. I just laid them out. So there's, 1, 2, 3 lengthwise, and I'll back up in a minute and show you some other pictures. But so this is the basic willow square stitch, and I did put a single crochet around each of the squares, and then I joined them in the back loop only, as I like to do. So you'll see this nice little, it sort of looks seamless when you're using the same color like this, and it kind of separates that joining border to have, like, you get a loop and I get a loop. So yeah, so I just laid it out, and for me it happened to work to just seam them down the sides the same way. If I can get it around my body here. So this is seamed exactly the same way as this. But then when it gets to the back, you can see that I had to do a little bit. You can't really hear me when I turn around. What I wanted to do to join it, I did need a little bit of extra space there, extra width. And so what I did was I just tied on and did a double crochet on one side, and then you do a double crochet on the other side. And this stitch happens to give you a ridge here in the center. So it's up to you whether you want that ridge to show or not. I did not, with the rest of kind of the seamless look. I wanted that back extender here that I put in to kind of just look like part of it, just go along the way, Hey guys, it's Amy in editing. I was trying to leave a specific decorative space in the connection of the 4 squares, but in watching the video back, I realized it looks like holes. Like maybe I need to go in there and add a couple of stitches to tighten that up. So I didn't want you to think that I'm a ding dong and didn't see that, because yeah, putting in the decorative, not coming together wholly, but completely, but to actually leave like a little space in there. I was kind of trying to do that on purpose, but didn't realize like it looks bad. It looks like holes. So I am going to go in there and fix that. The other thing is I wanted to share with you the other colors that I was talking about, because it kind of helps to see. So I've got a bunch that are in the that burgundy maroonish color. I don't have the bands on these anymore because I was all done with those. but that's the same color-ish that's the other cardigan, as a matter of fact. And then this is like that coralish, orangish, rustish color. Again, I don't have the bands on it anymore because I worked them all up. But I do have a ton of this left, so I have the band still. This is goldenrod and that kind of yellowy maize-like color. So those are going to be, whoops, those are going to be my three that I either try to decide I need to do separately or together or what. I have a lot of this, so maybe like one big project out of just this. What do you think? So I thought it was kind of a, I don't know, what's my word? It isn't natural to make a cardigan. I mean, cardigans are blowing up and we're seeing them all over the place with all kinds of different square patterns and stuff. So I just loved getting into this. You know, once I decided I wanted to do it and I started to fit it onto myself and make the piece come together, I just really enjoyed the way that it turned out. So I know it's not really cardigan season right now, but these were some squares that I already had done, and I have a handful of maroon or burgundy color ones, as well as some gold. So then I have an orangey color that goes maybe with it, so we'll see. It's, I think, rust colored. I don't know. I'll share that in another video when they come to something, when they end up being made together into something. So yeah, I just did a single crochet border around everything once the tiles were sewn together. I just went around the project once. I didn't give it any double crochets. Let me pull my other one out. So this is the other cardigan that you may have seen that I made. Where's my top? Where's my arms? Here. And so for this one, I did do a double crochet around the sleeves and around the collar and then down the front here. So there is a little bit of added across, what am I trying to say, added onto the collar part, added onto this center part here, oops, that I didn't do for the blue one, for the willow square. I just did a single crochet on that one. So this one you can see gives a little bit more of a border here. But so yeah, let me go ahead and I will do some standing up where you can see this better fitting. Ooh. Here, I'll scoot you back a little bit. How about that? So yeah, I'll scoot you back a little bit. There we go. So I really like this one. It's not too long. It just covers my fanny. I didn't have to do too much, you know, extra around it at all to just kind of throw it on like this. You know, for the 3 different cardigans that I made here, they're all sort of different in size, and I really love that. So yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed the way that this turned out. I love that it's a different kind of size and maybe application than my longer cardigan was. So happy to be complete with another cute little cardigan. Okay, so my other updates on things that I'm working on. I've shown you this. I'm not going to show you what size and stuff I'm at, but I've shown you this little scarfy shawlette thing that I'm making here, and I'm plugging right away with it. It's very tedious, like I said, but I am about 3/4 of the way through, so I'm very excited to see sort of a light at the end of the tunnel. Once you start to you're working on a project and then you get to a point and then it's time to decrease. That's always a satisfying point. So I turned that corner a few days ago, and I'm super excited to get forward with that one, moving forward. The other update is that I completed the rest of my pickle jar super minis into hexagon shapes, and so I put those together in a project, and I'm excited to be done with the thought process. You know, I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing with those, and now that I'm done with them, I'm kind of happy. The project itself isn't finished, but at least I know what I'm going to be doing with it. So here in a little bit, my husband is going to go with me. I am unable to make it to this year's yarn crawl. There are going to be 7 shops in the St. Louis area participating in the summer's yarn crawl, and which includes a couple of new shops that I've never been to before. So I'm really, really excited to have now 7. Last year there was only 4 shops for the yarn crawl. This year 7. However, it is going on the weekend of a major computer conversion at work, and all hands are on deck. So I cannot afford my 3 hours worth of driving around doing my yarn crawl on that weekend on one day, and then another 2 hours on another day. So we decided, my husband and I are going to do another little drive out to Yarn Together, which is in Washington, Missouri. We're doing that today. I'm going to go get my nails done after the video, and then we're going to drive out to Washington, Missouri to Yarn Together in my little makeshift, my own little yarn crawl. Because that one's kind of way away from everything else. The rest of it you can kind of work together maybe in one day, which I'm going to try to do tomorrow. But this one in Washington is way over here by itself. So we're going to do that today on a nice little road trip together, and then tomorrow I'm going to conquer the other 6 shops. Try to get them all in one swoop if I'm not exhausted by the end of it. So I thank you for your time. I always appreciate when you click on my videos, so thank you so very, very much. Have a wonderfully blessed day, and I hope you'll come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.